Marhaba! Welcome to our first ever episode of This Might Sound Foreign. I'm your host, Mawada Muhammad.
And I'm Meyss.
And this is by Across the Border CIC. Okay, Meyss. So for our first ever episode, obviously, we do need to have an introduction for the audience. Instead of you introducing yourself to the audience and I do the same.
Yeah.
You can introduce me and I'll introduce you. And this is a double barrel thing because this will also test our friendship because I genuinely think you don't know me.
First of all, might be true. But I just don't like I don't like being put on the spot and proving it as correct. Like this, for all we know, is a hypothesis.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's going to be proven. And I just remember that I have a dentist appointment and I really appreciate you inviting me and, putting that challenge, but I have to go. I really do have to go.
Yeah, see, this is why I wanted to do this because for the longest time I wanted to prove who's like a true, real friend and who is just there for the vibes and there to use people. And I think we're going to test this because we've known each other for over 10 years now. I think I know you very well, but I don't think you know anything about me.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know your dad's name. Muhammad.
See, that's about my dad, not even me. So let's test that. But yeah, how about you start? Let's see how it goes.
Okay. Let me think. Okay.
You see, guys, this is not going very well.
All right. Hi, guys.
Nah,
No, I'm trying to challenge.
I don't speak like that, bro.
Have you seen yourself? Have you seen yourself when you're trying to you're not speaking to people that you don't know, like the code switching that happens?
I mean, you do the same as well. You worked in a call center. Let me not bring up the receipts.
True, but not as good as you.
Oh, okay. So basically, I'm the fakest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hi. Why am I saying hi? Okay. My name is. My shoe size is 44.
Wow.
I'm joking.
No. Let me stop you right. The whole government name.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm impressed you know it, but shoe size is crazy.
I'm a black Sudanese Muslim woman. I have lived my entire life outside of Sudan. I have been to most of the world's continents except Antarctica, America, and Oceania. She lived in Russia, Iran, India, Jordan, and then obviously visited Sudan. I don't think she lived in Sudan. No, she didn't live in Sudan. And then obviously now the UK. She has graduated from the University of Essex with a biomedical science degree.
Do we really need to say that?
Yeah, exactly. With the grade of 2-1, I think.
Okay, specific.
She did module 1 was no, I'm joking. I only know it because yeah. And then her hobbies are painting, filmmaking, rapping.
Nah. Okay, that was.
It was a hobby at some point. It was.
Okay, I'll let that pass.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
She likes filmmaking, painting, photography, content creation. She what else? Yeah, and then she is also the co-founder and director of Across the Border. Her favorite color is forest green. Shoe size,
So
I already told
specific.
you.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
she also is playing the guitar.
Yeah.
She likes to learn how to play the guitar. Oh, she's learning.
Oh wow.
Learning to play the guitar.
You actually did such a
And
good
then
job.
soon enough, she will also learn how to sing, and then we're going to open ATB band because we're just doing all of the avenues. So now we have a podcast. Next is a band.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
As long as you play the guitar,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did very well, honestly.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
I did study hard.
I'm impressed.
Studied hard.
I guess you
15
do know me
years.
after all.
I would have a degree. I would specialize in your field. If you were a field, I'd be specialized in your field. It's been 15 years.
Wow.
Has it been 15 years?
No.
10, 11 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
Around this time.
It's been over a decade.
Some of them count as like double because a lot happened.
It
So,
is
yeah.
double digits for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, great, amazing. Moving on. So
No.
we have
No.
no, no, because
You think you thought you
no,
hoped.
because listen, like I guys,
Nuh-uh.
no, I actually know her. Okay, I actually do know you. But
What? Give me your
no,
certification.
but
Where's the certificate?
no, but now if I was to because the thing that I planned in my head, like the story I was gonna make of you was way shorter than what you just said. So I'm gonna look like a bad person.
That's okay. You can double
if
speed my section, and then you know.
Okay, all
yeah.
right, okay, I'll start. Okay, hi guys, my name is May. Since you put my government name, I am. Oh, I just blanked out. Not because I don't know you.
I'm a Sudanese
but
black.
because
Imagine she introduces herself again.
it's the nerves of the first podcast, okay, guys?
Yeah,
So my name is Meyss. I was born in France, and my parents. That was because my parents were studying in France, right? And that's how they met. And you were born there, you lived there for 5 years. You do not know a single lick of French, unfortunately.
Not true. Oui, bonjour.
Okay.
I
I
know,
guess
a
I
lick.
don't know her
I
after
know,
all.
a lick.
Okay, all right. Whatever you say. So you were born there. You have two siblings, one sister, one brother. They were also born in France. So you guys are a French community.
Oui.
So ethnically and culturally speaking, you are Syrian. You come from Syria. You are Arab. And you moved back to Syria from France. You're originally from Aleppo, but a lot of people assume that you're from Damascus, which is not true. You did live in Damascus. See, guys, come on. This is like, it's not even an open book. Like, I just know this at the back of my hand. So you lived in Damascus most of your childhood. You left Syria in around, or not in, at around 11 years old. And you also lived in Lebanon for some sort of time. And then you moved to Jordan.
Yes.
And that's where we met, unfortunately. 2014.
We'll elaborate on that later. That's an episode to unpack things. You need an
Yeah.
entire season.
Yeah. And then you've lived in Jordan for around 6 years. So you graduated high school from there. And then you moved to the UK to study. She also graduated from the University of Essex.
We're stuck with each other.
Yeah, with a biomedical degree. Granted that you don't use the degree. I know I do, but yeah.
what?
Like,
For what?
I do.
You work in a finance company. What are you using biomedical sciences for?
I literally, I trust me. I do use my degree.
For?
Like, like the other day, I literally put it in my suitcase when I moved house, but I do use it.
She's showing off because I don't have a physical degree because I actually graduated.
No, I'm not. Nah. Okay. See, now it's turning into something dark.
yeah.
Let's not do that, guys.
If I had my physical degree, I would.
You
wipe
do
with
have a
it.
physical degree, though. You did your master's.
I wipe with it.
You did your.
I sometimes look at it. The first time anyone asked to see my degree was like just recently when I was switching jobs, and then they were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
show us a proof that you went to the King's College." I was like,
Oh, so it did come in handy.
offended. Why the fuck do you think I'm gonna lie? But
Yeah.
sure,
No,
came in
that's
handy.
good.
That was the first time that anyone saw it. I had to be looking for it. I was like, looking, where is it?
I'll start asking you for it every now and then.
Yeah, just to make me feel like I'm important.
Yeah,
you know?
of course. I'll do
Thank
that
you.
for you because
Thank you.
I'm a real friend.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
So, yeah, you, speaking of masters, she graduated from King's College, and she graduated with a degree in clinical neuroscience, which is a very challenging degree.
You know what's so funny? We graduate from those universities and now we have a podcast talking shit.
No, the degrees inspired us to do this.
Why? We're going to be talking about science.
No.
About how the brain works.
We'll let you guys know later how the degrees have helped us shape, this
Shape us.
podcast, basically. Yeah, 2021, we made an impulsive decision to move to London, and we've been living together ever since. But unfortunately, we departed
Yeah.
this year,
Recently.
literally last month.
Yeah. We had to
um,
break up. The band
yeah,
has
yeah,
disassembled.
yeah. I think it was time. It was time. Yeah.
Debatable, but like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you were taking advantage of me to the max.
God
So
damn.
yeah, I just couldn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
damn.
But yeah, your hobbies, guys. Oh my god, I just remembered, guys.
You know what's so sad is like I don't know which one you're gonna mention with that so much enthusiasm and hate for it.
No, this is very serious. Okay, so Mace is into journaling, right? But recently, over the past year or so, she's been obsessed with like a branch of journaling. Guys, it's junk journaling. Please tell me you know what that means. Junk journaling is basically when you go about your day, whatever you can see, whatever you can use, whatever item you have basically discovered during that day, you would put it on that journal. Like, I'm not gonna lie, at times I've seen some junk journals. At times they're actually pretty gross. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you're taking a ramen sachet and putting it on your journal?
Yeah.
That's
I've
crazy.
done that. I can't even, deny. I've done that, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. The spread was bomb.
No, this is not okay. This is not okay. Because guys, it got to the point where it was actually affecting our friendship. Like I would dread hanging out with Mace because I just know that if we go to any restaurant, any
Yeah, I'm
cafe,
the trash woman, basically.
she's taking the cards, she's taking the receipts, she's taking even the
Shoes.
napkins, guys.
Yeah, because the napkins have the logo on them, so you get to stick them on the journal.
Yeah, but Blank Street,
Yeah.
it's a brown napkin that doesn't even
Yeah,
have
but
the
sometimes it
logo
gives
in
the
it.
background. You understand? Like you're not seeing my vision every time I go out. But like if I'm going about my day, I can already see like every single thing in my head where it's gonna go, the position, and the background is very important. Texture is very important.
I guess
But
I'll
you wouldn't
never
understand.
understand.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
I'll never understand, nor do I want to
You
understand.
either get it. The people who get
Yeah.
it get it, and the people who don't. You know?
I guess I'm one of those who don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And oh my god, she has so many hobbies. Another hobby, guys. So obviously Mace loves true crime. She loves to watch true crime series, true crime documentaries. However, I caught her one time, I think this was around 2 years ago, and I went into her room. Guys, when I tell you she was fast asleep like a baby, like she was hibernating. Guys, but do I even have to say this? She was sleeping like a baby, but she had her laptop open and it was playing true crime, and the words I was hearing were gruesome. Like they were killer words. I literally had to wake her up because I thought it was a YouTube video she had playing. She fell asleep because she was so tired, and then the next automatic
Auto-recommended,
yeah was just playing, and it happens to be like a true crime documentary or
Yeah.
something. But no, this girl
Conscious
played
choice. That was
She-
a conscious choice. Yeah.
this guys, you don't understand. Like she plays true crime because I was questioning her and I was like, why, what are you doing, why are you playing this? She was like, oh, it helps me sleep, it calms me down.
Yes. It does. It does.
How?
It's very nice to know that there's people who have it worse than you.
That's crazy.
It just, it's a therapy session for sure.
Yeah, see, I can't, like, I can't envision that. Like, how is that therapeutic? But I do understand that people have different coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I find that so interesting. I can't relate.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of her hobbies, but she's also very creative. She's artistic. She loves to paint, loves to draw, loves to, you like a lot of abstract things. So you don't like how, you don't like following a pattern. You actually like to do things your own way. What else? You also love the casual, hang out, chill with friends, da-da-da. And
That's pretty much it.
yeah.
I can't think of anything else myself.
How do you think I did?
Very well. I'd
Yeah.
say almost 10 out of 10.
Almost.
Yeah. If you just didn't say that my parents met in France. My grandpa would have not liked that.
You told me that.
No. They met in Syria. They just went together.
Well, that's not my problem, guys.
No. They never said that my parents met in France.
That was not my problem.
As an Arab woman, my mom would have never made it to France if she didn't have a
Well,
husband in her hand.
I remember the conversation very clearly because you were like, I was born in France. And I was like, oh my God, really? So you lived in France? You're like, yeah, my parents were studying there.
Yeah, but
That's how they met.
there.
That's how they met.
You added that part because I've never said that my parents met there. My parents got married and they went together there.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think my mom would have been able to go by herself as an Arab woman back in the day, kind of thing.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that conversation never came up. So, and it's about your parents, it's not about you.
That's true.
Yeah.
What did you say last time? You were something about like, oh, like those kind of things we didn't choose. Like.
True. Yeah. Like these. Because at first, when you were describing me, I was like. Like, okay, she's talking about my full government name.
Yeah.
She's talking about, like, legal stuff. She's talking about studies. She's talking about all of these things. I didn't really choose that.
Yeah.
Talking about my shoe size, like, hello?
Debatable. You could argue that you chose your shoe size.
Not really.
You can wear something smaller and suffer.
You can't defeat nature. So, I was like, okay, what about my hobbies? And then she finally came into my hobbies. So... Yeah.
You did miss an important part of my life, which is my shoe size. What's my shoe size?
So, yeah, let's not talk about that. I think there's a reason why the camera is angled from here, because that is one thing that we don't,
we're not the proudest of.
Yeah.
And just like Mawada said,
yeah.
we didn't choose that. So you guys can't hate on us for it. Hate on us for
we
our hobbies.
Yeah, we didn't choose that life.
That we definitely chose.
Yeah. This podcast, however.
That was a choice and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's coming up next is a band.
Huh?
A band next.
Why?
We have to hit all avenues. We have to utilize.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, no. I think I'm going to have to retire after this because...
You convinced me to do this.
Listen, I don't say that it was my idea.
It was your idea.
No, it wasn't.
I'm very against having an alpha male podcast. You know what I mean?
God. Like this is not alpha male, guys, whatsoever. Please do not kick off. It's not at all. This is a very safe space. It's a very migrant-led, inclusive.
Yeah. Now they're gonna click off right there. You just lost them right there.
Oh God. Well, the right people will stay.
Yes.
So what are some funny memories from school that you thought, that still linger till today, that we both share?
Oh, too many. Well, it depends. Give me a genre. I think genre is very important.
Well, funny is a genre, no?
Funny, okay. So, I don't know. Trying not to embarrass us too soon.
Yeah, actually, maybe let's not talk about this like this early on. Okay, how about like just a lighthearted one so that we can like give them an idea of like the lifestyle we grew up in.
I think I remember like one time we were like walking towards the cafeteria, the canteen, and then I don't know, we were talking about like school and whatever. It was like I was just getting to know people, and the reason why like me and Mawada hit it off is because she was one of the few people who spoke Arabic. Debatable, but then
no, I do. I speak Arabic fluently. I do. Marhaba.
I mean, if you want to ice, like before we do like an IELTS scale,
sure, we could do that.
Yeah.
I did Tawjihi. Skip the IELTS, girl.
That's an insane
Tawjihi is.
I didn't even do Tawjihi.
Is one of the Arabic curriculums. That
Debatable.
A lot of,
it could be said as one of the hardest, by the way.
Yeah, it is, and I did that.
Okay, so she was like the first person who spoke Arabic, so that like obviously I was drawn to her. Like, and then people who like a lot of students spoke Arabic as well, but like not like Mawadda just automatically the moment she saw me hesitating, she asked me if I spoke Arabic, and then we spoke Arabic. And also Mawadda's a hijabi, so I was for sure certain that like it was that mentality of like, oh, she's a hijabi. Like I didn't she's Muslim.
Okay. Yeah.
She must speak Arabic. Like
okay.
What other options is there? Right?
Yeah.
Naive, right, of course. Not all Muslims speak Arabic, but yeah. So, yeah, and then we were going to the canteen and whatever, and I was basically asking Mawadda, I was like, Mawadda, like, first of all, why are the girls not having their hair tied? in a tidy
Yeah, I remember.
bun. I was bamboozled. It was like hair everywhere. This is so untidy. So
I
like,
remember.
my back in Syria, like that, we would get beat up for this. Like this is not a joke. Like you not having your hair
Oh
slicked
my
back
God.
in a braid, in a bun, very
Yeah.
military style. Like no, like that was not acceptable. So I was like, why are the girls not having their hair? And then they also like there was the skirts aspect. So the girls were wearing skirts, but like I've seen in TV shows people wearing skirts, but maybe because I only saw like, I don't know, like Arabic schools, the skirt was up to the knees. Dare I say below the knee? Except in my school, they were so high up. I was like, no, there must be a mistake here. Why is
Yeah.
it so short? Like, and I assume like it's a school, it's a uniform. I was like, okay, why are the girls wearing short skirts? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I was just confused. You know, they had to like basically teach me
Yeah.
everything. Like,
For context, so like you said, it was your first international school.
Yeah.
Mace also didn't speak English very well at the time, and yeah, I mean,
Still
I'm
don't.
honored. That, no, you do. I'm honored that you felt comfort in coming to me and
Yeah.
everything. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that shouldn't have happened.
well, maybe you should have
but-
not been the only hijabi in there. Like, what am I supposed?
Okay,
I was
fair
like
enough.
coming in, a Muslim girl, and also I
Yeah.
had the perceived notion. I was going to international school. Yes, I knew there's gonna be a lot of Arabs, but I didn't expect to be a lot of Muslims, right?
yeah.
So, and I was like, oh, so when I saw her, I was like, my aunt.
Oh, right there, green
Exactly.
light.
There was even a younger girl who also wore the hijab as well, and like, she was so much younger than us. She was like, she ended up being the sister of one of our colleagues, like one of colleagues. That's how like
Wow.
business.
We're
One
really
of our
adults
one of
right
our
now.
friends, and yeah, like that's why like, in my head it was easy to identify because you guys were wearing the hijab, so that was easy for me. Like, okay, those are Muslims.
Yeah.
They're gonna share a lot of the things, a lot of the values, a lot of like the things that I share, and especially when I felt out of place. Like that felt like comforting to me, so like I
Yeah.
felt more comfortable coming to ask you certain things.
Yeah, no, for sure. And oh my God, I remember in the canteen, guys, like when she asked me those questions, she was so confused
Yeah, yeah.
because
I was concerned.
like when we first met, we actually met in the auditorium. Well, we didn't really have an auditorium. We just had like a hall.
Assembly room.
Yeah, like an assembly room. And that's where we kind of met because we sat in the same row. And I was like, hi, I'm Mawada. She was like, I'm Meyss. And then that's where the rest is history.
Yeah.
But she forgot my name the second I said it. But yeah, and then we went to the canteen. Guys, when I tell you Meyss, for context, she was wearing pants and a shirt just like I was. She had like pigtails, but they were braided in. So it looked like she spent 2 hours doing her hair, literally. Like,
Yeah, because
it was
otherwise
very
you
neat.
get beaten up if it's not tidy.
Yeah,
So
it
you
was
have to be
very neat.
careful.
And then we were having lunch, and then she was just like, all of a sudden, she was like, "Nafsi araf," like, I'd like to question myself, like, why are the girls wearing such short skirts? Like, how is this okay? And she was like, why are there all their hairs down, and why are they putting makeup on and everything? Guys, when I tell you, I looked at her and I was like, she cannot be serious. She cannot be serious. And then that's when I came to find out, like, oh, like, this is her first time in international school, that like, oh, like a lot of people, that's the norm basically. Because a lot of people come from different backgrounds and everything, and most international schools follow the Western system anyway. So it's very like, it's very normal to like be wearing such things and
Yeah.
speak a certain way and have your hair a certain way and whatnot. So yeah, it was a very interesting funny moment, but we did bond for sure. Like yeah, I got to learn a lot from you, and you learned a lot from me as well, because I've never been to a local school before. I've been international schools all my life, so the fact that like two worlds came together, I find that beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your favorite memory of school?
Oh, favorite memory.
Yeah, like a
I
funny.
don't have favorites.
Okay, what about a funny one? The
Oh, funny. Okay.
could be before my time.
Oh, there's so many. Oh my God, guys. I was actually telling you this, and we have a group chat with like a few other friends from school, and I was telling them it's not a funny moment. It's very embarrassing. I remember I was in like year 8, and basically I was one of the last people to after the bell rang for lunch and everything to make it into the classrooms. And as I was heading out, there were two other guys. As we were walking, one of them, like, they were, chatting, chilling, whatever, laughing, giggling. And then one of them randomly asks, like, oh, what time is it? And then,
Yeah.
and I just said so loudly, I was like, oh, it's like 2 p.m.? Wait, I don't know. Maybe it's like 2:15? I'm not really sure. And guys, when I tell you after that, it was dead silent. Like the way upstairs to the classrooms, it was dead silent. None of them said a word. Like I felt so weird. It wasn't until a year after that I realized, oh, he was actually asking the friend.
That's crazy. After a year, you didn't clock.
I know, because it kept replaying in my head. I was like, why did they go so quiet?
Yeah.
I was like, why? Like, did I make it weird? Like,
But it took you an entire year to realize
I
what
know,
was the
because
issue?
I guess I don't know. I
Damn.
don't know. And then I just realized, I was like, wait, like, maybe he was asking the friend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sure they laughed about it. And they were like, oh, like, I wasn't trying to ask you. And they were
Yeah.
trying to keep it respectful. But it was so embarrassing, girl. Like, I still cringe. It's like, one of those moments where it's like your brain just fires in like a memory, unlocks it out of nowhere that you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
And then you just cringe so hard because you're like, I just wish I went back to that time and like did things differently.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, like till today, guys, I still think back to that day. Like,
To be fair, like, that's good. If this is the most embarrassing thing you remember from school, that's good. Like, that's not...
well, it's the most
very-
embarrassing to me. Not to say that
Yeah.
I haven't done more embarrassing things, but
Yeah.
to me, I would say like that's one of the most embarrassing.
Damn. I mean, to be fair, like, I think most people would go through that just because... You know how, like, sometimes you would wave and then the people would think that you're waving at them, but you're waving at the person
Oh yeah,
behind them.
thank God that's never happened to me
It
before.
never happened to me. I've seen it happen to people.
Or like people leaning in for a hug,
And then they go for, like, a fist bump or, like,
that's
a...
brutal.
Or, like, a handshake.
This is why I don't have faith in humanity. Because if we were all decent human beings, like if I was the person leaning in for a hug,
Yeah.
or like going for a hug and it wasn't to the correct person, I would just pretend like, it was meant to be for that person. Just because to save them the embarrassment. Guys, that person probably till today rethinks
But
back
maybe
to
it's
that
just,
day.
Just like you went into the hug, wanting a hug, and then they just didn't realize it fast enough that you actually wanted a hug. So maybe it's not 100% their fault. Maybe they're also
What do you
thinking,
mean?
like, for example, I go in and hug, and then you want to give me a fist bump. But you don't realize that I'm going for a hug.
Oh, I thought you meant, I was talking about, you wanting to hug the person behind that person.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That only applies for you were waving at someone. The person behind them. But then when it comes to, like, for example, when you're hugging someone, like, you want to say hi to someone, you go in for a hug, they go in for a handshake. Or, like,
Yeah.
a fist bump. And then now you're like, mid-air.
Yeah, that's a bit awkward. Yeah,
That's what I'm
or like
saying.
when you want to like lean this way and they do the same thing, and then you want to
Exactly. So it's just like, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but like, like, but
Yeah,
you
awkward,
think about it and
yeah.
later I'll be like, oh, I went for a hug, but they went for a bump. Like a hand bump,
No, but come on, mine is way more embarrassing. Like, I don't speak to these guys. Why did I respond? Like, clearly they
trying
were
to be
speaking to
helpful.
each other. But the way it was said, it was like we were walking and he was opening because he opened the door to go into the building and he left it open for me. And I think at that time he was like, oh, what time is it?
Yeah.
And then I think my brain just automatically thought he was trying to start a conversation with me.
Yeah.
Like, no, hi, hello, what time is it?
Yeah.
And I've never spoken to this person ever.
Maybe he was just asking for time. It's not that,
Yeah.
like, it's not that far-fetched that you'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
he didn't have a watch on him. He asked the first person
Yeah.
he saw for the time.
Maybe, but it was dead silent afterward. Girl,
Well,
I analyzed that moment very well.
He took that information and just he
Yeah.
sat with it, and then he didn't have to tell you anything about it. But yeah, I would if he
Yeah.
wanted the answer from me, he would have said thank you at least.
Yeah, he didn't say
Yeah,
anything.
He
So
didn't
yeah,
need that
literally,
info from
like
you.
I had to overthink everything to realize, and it took me a year, granted, but yeah, I realized, okay, clearly that was not directed to you, and next time just make sure someone's actually speaking to you. But yeah, it's really funny how the brain works, though. But yeah, I would say that.
Neuroscience. That's where our degrees come in.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say that's one of the not even funny moments, like
Yeah.
one of the moments I remember from school.
So I think the next thing we'll probably want to speak about is what is this?
Yeah.
Question mark. Like what's across the border? why are we doing this podcast? What's the, I guess, the aim of this? What do you think?
Yeah, let's start with Across the Border.
Okay.
So, for those of you who don't know, Across the Border is a community interest company. It's a grassroots initiative that Meyss and I started. And the way we started it is really funny. Like, it was so random because we were like, we were just chilling at home, lounging like any other day. And then all of a sudden, we were just like, we sparked this idea. We're like, we share so many similarities in terms of like hardships and, lows that a lot of migrants have and experience. And we were like, what can we do to try and help this community? What can we do to try and better society in the UK? How can we try and integrate these people? And we were like, let's start a business. Because I've always wanted to start a business. Granted that it wasn't in like community work, it was more like selling merch, but
Yeah, like a business.
yeah, like a business
Where you can make money business.
exactly. And Meyss also, she's a business, she has a business mindset as well. So we were like, how about we try and start one together? And we did group together and everything, and that's how we kind of started.
Yeah, from a conversation in the living room, and then it got too serious, and then obviously it was initially supposed to be like a charity, but then we were like, okay, so our business might be more feasible, and then here we are having an NGO. Unfortunately, we're not the kind of business that makes money. Not yet. And then even down the line, this is not really the main aspect of what the business is about. Maybe down the line, once we get experience, we can open another business, but
yeah, for now it's just purely for the community.
Exactly.
So yeah, we are trying, obviously we only started January 2025, so this year it's only been about 6-7 months. So we are just getting started, but over the course of the 6 months, like we've actually done a lot already, and I'm really proud of how far we've come. But I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done. We also need a lot of people that can help, because Meyss and I can't carry this whole load. Like this is a lot. But yeah, I think just being patient with it, and just trying to start small, and slowly but surely we might get grants, we might get funding, we might get all of these things that we can invest back into the business and grow together, and just help the public really.
No, I think that's a very good summary of what we do Across the Border. Then my next question would be like, why are we doing this podcast? Why are we being alpha males? Next thing we need is a cigar and sparkling water. That's the only thing we're missing.
Typical.
But
Standard.
so like, why this? What's the name is about? Just basically, why this?
Yeah.
Why podcasts? Because we listen to a lot of podcasts, so we thought that would qualify us to make our own.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's part of it for sure. Like, who doesn't like a podcast? But I think, so the idea of starting a podcast, I think, is to obviously try and build a relationship as, directors of a business and founders of a business with our community, and doing it in like an informal way almost, because this podcast, well, the way I see it is that it's meant to be like such an informal thing, and such a lighthearted, funny, like all, laughs and bants, about like just our lives, about, what it's like being an immigrant in the Western world, and also just the fact that like we don't see that a lot for us, our nature, for people from ethnic minorities. You don't see people making it in the podcasting world, the entertainment world, in general. There's not many of us. So just trying to add to that, trying to see if there's room for 2 more people to try and fit in and give back to the public, because it's not always serious. Whenever people talk about the topic of immigration, it's always like, oh, like they're doing this, they're doing that, and they
Negative
get very
as well.
they get very political about it and everything. So we just want to try and share a space with the public where it's like, it's not always serious. Like, sure, it is that deep, but it's also not that deep. Like, we can still have fun, because everyone has the right to do so. And it's just, it's kind of a sense of representation, kind of.
And it's just basically another platform that we want to share our experiences coming to this country as immigrants, but then also hopefully letting people see that, you know, you're not the only one who's experiencing this, regardless of whether it's embarrassing, funny, awkward, sad, frustrating. All of these emotions are valid and you are allowed to feel them. And a lot of the time there's emotions that we ourselves don't know how to process, and we go to other avenues to try and process these, like even watch podcasts ourselves, or like
Yeah.
speak to people who share the same struggle as us, or even as simple as, like, you know, calling our parents, you know, even though that we don't have our parents with us, but just having
Yeah.
that sense of like, oh, you know, belonging somewhere, even if it's not a geographical place, but rather than just like people around us and surrounding us. So it's just basically letting people know that just like you have been through A, B, C, and D, so many other people have been through it. You could listen to us and maybe avoid the mistakes that we made, or maybe choose to be
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, that I've done this as well, and I actually think it's not that big of a deal. And I agree, you know, like life is not that serious. Yes, there's very serious topics that should be taken seriously, um, but just like anything in the world, there is the political aspect of it, but also is the humanitarian aspect of it. It's behind every story, behind every immigrant, there's a human that sometimes, most of the time, it's getting lost. People are putting an umbrella term so they can dehumanize
Yeah.
immigrants.
Yeah.
All of us are the same. All of us come from the same experience, which is not true. Every single person comes from a different background with different thoughts, lived experiences, cultures, languages. We have a lot of similarities, but we stand by ourselves, unique in our own way. That has to be valued as well. It's the idea of like all immigrants are the same is not gonna cut it anymore.
True.
Not immigrants are all the
True.
same. They go through different struggles, and we want to change the narrative. Me and Mawadda, since the age of 14, 13, we've been to the same school, we've graduated from the same university, we lived together for such a long period of time. Me and Mawadda are not the same person.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think one of the reasons why I thought having a podcast would be great is because when we talk with each other, we kind of bond with each other. And obviously, like you mentioned, you know, we are both immigrants.
Yeah.
And, you know, we did kind of, you know, get off on the same boat, kind of. No pun intended.
Not that kind of boat.
Yeah, but you know, we kind of started in like a similar setting as you
Yeah.
mentioned and everything, but we did have different ways of perceiving
Yeah.
life and having these experiences. But I think the way, you know, we bond is like by talking to each other, talking about our
Yeah.
experiences, advising each other on things, you know, just having that, you know, sister chit chat, sister
Yeah.
talk here and there. And I think a lot of friends do that as well. And it just got me thinking, why don't we do that for you know, other people, whether you're a migrant or whether you're a local, as well. You know, there's no harm in doing that. There's no harm in sharing stories. There's no harm in sharing experiences, especially coming from a different background, because, you know, it provides insight, it gives awareness.
Sorry, okay, continue. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure it was recording.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, so as I was saying, like it gives insight and everything, and it gives that perspective, which I feel like is really important. And yeah, essentially, I was gonna say a point, but I forgot now.
That's because of me, because that's I interrupted you because of the, what is it called?
It was an
Sound system.
important
It's
point
my
as well.
responsibility, so I had to
It's
make
okay.
sure it was recording.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. It's our first episode. We're still figuring stuff out. So
Yeah, and I mean, I forgot the point, but that doesn't matter
another
anymore.
point.
But yeah, essentially, it's just to like, because, you know, a lot of migrants when they first come to this country, they don't know a lot of people around here.
Yeah.
They feel lost. They don't feel like, even if you know the language, even if you've visited this place 100 times over,
Yeah.
living in a new country is never easy. So just having that kind of sense of belonging through watching a podcast, listening to one, or even hearing stories where you can, like, you know, take the advice or learn from, is something that I feel like could be really useful to anyone, regardless of your background. So yeah, this podcast idea, I think, is perfect for this.
yeah, it's just us sharing our thoughts. Take what you like, leave what you don't. And hopefully, in the end of the day, we are just two people. We cannot represent all migrants. Like,
Of
that's the
course.
thing. Like, there's no way that me and Mawada's experience is going to encompass everything about the word, or like the experience of being a migrant in this country, or just like anywhere around the world. But that's why we're hoping down the line to bring people from also different parts of the world,
Yeah.
that they have different experiences than we did. They came to this country for different reasons than we did. They have experienced the British society in a different manner than we did, whether it's more positive or more negative, or maybe just the same, just in a different flavor. And hopefully hear their perspective on things, hear what identity means to them, what being not being home, but not being home, because you can consider this country your home, but you can consider back home as home.
Yeah.
But then you can consider neither home, and you can just be in between. So it's just how much every single person, there's a percentage of like, oh, I feel more home than I feel back home. But then some people be like, no, I feel back home more home than I feel here. And it's just like how people are basically dividing their identity and where they belong. And it's belonging is such a complex thing that we don't even know ourselves, but we learn from each other, and then we learn how to express it. And some people would get it, some people won't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as long as all of us know that we're here for fun, for vibes,
Yeah.
no hate comments. No, you can put them. We'll delete them. And yeah, just being here to support each other as friends, but also hopefully being there. Just like we had those podcasts that made us happy, sad, and inspired us in some way, that we will be that for even one person, or even if it picks you up one day, if we say a joke, they'll be like, oh my god, I can relate to this so much. We've done our job. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's literally all that matters. But yeah, you said it very nicely. So yeah, beautifully done. Well done.
That's
but
why you chose me as your co-founder.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, no, that sounds really good. We're also trying to really engage with our audience, so we might hit up social media, we might bump into people in person or something, and just try and make this podcast not just centered around us, but also around the people that watch us, the people that listen to us. And yeah, I think it's gonna grow into something really, really great. But obviously that doesn't happen without consistency. So you may or may not see our faces again, but we really hope that you do.
This video might not ever see the day of light.
Yes, yeah.
It depends on how hard editing is. Because
Yeah.
filming has been a challenge and a half.
Yeah, I keep looking back and forth because
Yeah.
I'm so scared that the camera would stop recording at
The
some
camera will
point.
stop recording, the light is going to go down, the voice system is going to go down.
Yeah.
For all we know, we've recorded all of this, and then there's just a squeaking voice at the
Oh,
back.
imagine, honestly.
But
that would
hopefully.
piss me off. Yeah, no,
I
literally.
would drop this. I'm not even joking. I
The
don't know
entire
how people-
business, not just the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it. I think it's because they have people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get people behind the scenes.
If anyone is into cinematography, video stuff, podcasting, whatever it is, and you want to help out, then yeah.
Or if you have a very dominant personality and you want to boss around while doing a podcast, we're happy.
Yeah.
As long as you help us, come and boss us around.
Yeah, you can manage this, honestly,
be like,
because we're
"Sit
just we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We'll figure it out. We always do. We
Yeah, we do.
always do.
we do.
Yeah.
So now we're on to our next segment. It's one of my favorite, actually. It's the Instagram question of the week. So I've gathered around 5 responses.
Me too. The question was, what's the wildest thing someone said to you about your culture?
Some of the responses were a bit funny.
So the ones that we've gotten is, he says that my family loves tea, and then he's from Sri Lanka, and so when he said that statement, someone responded to him, and he was like, "You get it, because you were part of the empire."
That's a bit weird.
That's
That's
just,
not okay.
First of all, and also for me, just it's not even funny. Somehow sometimes some jokes you can see you can see the vision. But he didn't execute it. There's no vision
Because
here.
they're just basically highlighting colonization, which
Yeah.
wasn't really a proud moment, really, is it?
He was proud of it, apparently.
So my one of my responses was, everyone assuming I'm smart just because I'm East Asian. I had to retake the UCAT twice. Yeah, like honestly, East Asians get hit the most
Yeah.
about like IQ and like how smart you are, and it's a lot of pressure. It is a stereotype, but it's
Yeah.
like I think they call it a positive stereotype. So it's positive in a sense where it's like, it's something good, like you're smart. But it's also not very positive because obviously that adds a lot of pressure. People have to work twice as hard to prove that,
Yeah.
oh, because I'm from this, region or whatever, I have to like make sure that I don't let my people down or I don't let my family down and stuff. And it's just, I feel like that's not healthy. That's very toxic. So yeah, I really like how she said I had to retake the UCAT twice because,
Yeah.
medicine. I don't want to talk about med school stuff.
That's a season by itself.
Yeah, let's not get into it. But yeah, like I feel like people should, look at others like individualistically instead of just like basing it off of a stereotype, and just generalizing people because that's
Yeah.
just not healthy. But yeah.
I also think the thing is, obviously, like, yes, it is a positive stereotype, but in a way, just like what I said, it set unrealistic standards that now everyone who's not, smart, whatever that means they are below average, even though, realistically speaking, that threshold is now so much higher because of that
Yeah.
stereotype, right? Like, probably, like, when it comes to, like, IQ or, like, anything around the world, everyone has, like, maybe realistic standards of what that is per country, let's say, but then because they have their stereotypes, now they have to basically be so much above that. And even people who are, like, let's say, relatively smart, or maybe they are artistic, they're not like book smart, they're not mathematicians, they don't like maths, now those people don't fit the mold and therefore they're outcasts
Yeah.
in society, which is a very, like, it's a very deep way to look into it, but eventually that's what it leads to, is basically creating outcasts just because they are not smart, quote unquote, whatever that means.
Yeah.
The second one I have is assumed my culture was oppression, and then the same person also said asking if we were all pirates and if piracy drives our economy.
Wow. Wait, okay, this sounds so bad, but I promise you I don't have that kind of mentality, but can I guess where they're from? Because that's
Sure.
so obvious, because in TikTok, everyone thinks Somalis are pirates.
Yeah. I don't understand where this comes from. Like,
Yeah,
is there
honestly,
historical
it's
events?
because of literally, it's all because of that, but it's also because that show went very viral. If you remember the "I am the captain now" meme.
Yeah.
So it's like that whole like pirate stuff, and people just because the person was Somali, the actor,
Okay.
and yeah, people just started like.
Was that a
calling
show,
Somalis-
like a Somali show or
I
something?
think it was like a movie or like
Yeah, no,
they need to stop
definitely.
with that now because it's getting boring now.
And also, I'm not gonna lie, the statement is kind of dumb, because how can you say that piracy, which is like a very unregulated field, let's say, if hypothetically speaking, it was like a field, is driving an economy? Do you think, even if pirates were to be a profession, do you think they're paying taxes? Do you think they are giving back to the community? So how are you, like, not only is your comment racist, but also it's like dumb.
My next one is, I relate to this so hard. Do you have internet in Africa? Guys, a lot of people like seem to forget that Africa is a continent.
Entire
And-
continent. At that.
Yeah, and it's not just any kind of continent. It's like the second largest in the world. Like, it's like Africa is so like huge. Like it's made of like over 50 countries. Like it's insane that people just generalize Africa as one. Like they see a black person and they're like, "Hi, you're from Africa," and it's crazy. And this whole mentality or the idea of, oh, there's no internet in Africa. Like, how do you think people from Africa post on TikTok, post on social media, post, how do you think news channels run in Africa? How do you think, how do you think people use phones? Like, obviously there's internet in Africa. Like, what
Yeah.
kind of question is that? I don't know how long, like, ago they were asked this question, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty recent. I wouldn't be surprised, since they, responded to the question with that. So
Yeah, like honestly, if that question was asked 20, 30 years ago before the internet was a thing, well, let's say,
like Wi-Fi and
exactly,
stuff.
at the beginning of time, internet was only rich people get to have that, right? Like even in, like, not just, for example, in Africa, like even in, for example, the UK, not everyone had access to the internet. If that question was asked back in the day, I would be like, I can see where they are coming from. It doesn't have to be necessarily racist, but in this context, when you have, first of all, if you're asking that questions, I'm gonna have to ask you, do you have the internet? Because why can't you Google it?
Yeah.
You know?
No, crazy.
Yeah. After asking me where I'm from, I said Jordan. They said you're Middle Eastern. You guys must have a lot of oil money. I responded in my head, maybe olive oil.
That's funny.
It's true.
That's actually funny.
Not all Middle Eastern countries have that, like the crude oil that people think of.
yeah.
And sometimes because of like this, I don't know where this thinking came from. Everyone thinks, oh, people from the Middle East are rich. Two stereotypes that you're allowed to fall into as a Middle Eastern person. Either you're rich or you come from war zones. There's no middle. And so, yeah,
that's
so I'm
so
assuming
true. Oh my God.
probably to them is like, oh, Jordan, Middle Eastern. They haven't heard about it in the news being, in a war. Therefore, oil. Oil.
Oh God, that's so toxic.
It's,
Yeah.
again, it feels like they don't have internet. You know what I mean? Like,
People thinking all Indians are dirty and musty just because of what the media portrays. And okay, so as someone who's lived in India for like collectively 7 years, it's a long time. I actually I agree with this because the media does portray India in a negative light, especially recently.
Yeah.
And with India, with any other country, India is just like any other country where you see the dirty parts, and you have the really elite, high class, billionaires, rich people areas and all of that, where it's clean and neat and tidy, and the city centers and everything. Just like any other countries, India has that. And it also has the poorer areas, the more broken down areas, the dirty areas. You see that in every single country, guys. Why is there this negative preconceived notion that, oh, if you come to India, that's all you're gonna see? It's not true. Even in the UK, there are some dirty, weird, scary parts that I wouldn't dare touch. I would rather go to some alleyways in India than go there. So I do agree that the media does portray India in a negative light, and Indian people as well in general, especially lately, because I think there were so many stories where people were shedding negative light on India. And even I remember there was someone who on TikTok, and they asked oh, what's one country you would never visit, and most of them were answering India.
yeah.
And I was just guys, it's not as bad as you think it is.
Also, India, geographically speaking, is a massive country.
Yeah.
So realistically speaking, even do you guys think that we saw, even if when it comes to those videos, do you guys think we saw all of it?
Exactly.
Being that big, I don't
Yeah.
think that's realistic. And it's just like any other stereotypes, it harms. No matter how much it harms. Obviously right now, probably India, I'm assuming, I haven't Googled this, but they're suffering probably economically speaking because no one wants to visit, right?
There are some issues.
And in the end of the day, it's it's a country, and just like what they said, there is the bad, there's the ugly, and there's the beautiful, there's the appreciation. What country does not have an alleyway that is basically no one would walk through?
Of course. Have you seen the public transport in the States?
Exactly.
That's terrifying in itself. Not that I've been to the States, but I've heard horror stories from friends who lived there. Oh my God, the New York rats. Let's not get there. Oh my God.
Can we also we could say the same thing? Be oh, all of the metro system in the U.S. has massive rats in it. Are we allowed to say that? Well, of course we're not allowed to say that because that's the stereotype. That's literally it doesn't make sense. And everyone would say the same thing, but oh no, but the US has multiple cities, multiple states. How are you guys generalizing? But it's okay for you to generalize from a different country.
You could
put your shoes in
it,
other people's perspective. That's what's very important. Yeah.
No, for sure. You can turn it however way you want, honestly.
Yeah.
And it would come to the same result that, oh, you are generalizing, you are being stereotypical, and there is prejudice going on in your statements.
My last one would be, every time I tell someone I'm from the Middle East, they assume I'm from Lebanon because I'm blonde.
Wait, because she's what?
So every time I tell someone I'm from the Middle East, they assume I'm from Lebanon because she's blonde.
Oh,
We have blonde people. I don't know what you're talking about. There's Egyptians
They're
who are
literally-
blonde. There's
Yeah.
North Africans who are blonde. There's
Jordanians, Palestinians,
there are
like,
Moroccans. There are Algerians. There are, crazy. You might not believe it. There's even Saudi people who are blonde. There's Omanis. There are Emiratis.
yeah.
That's not how genetics works. Just because you have something that is like, as Arabs, we are predominantly maybe brunettes. We are predominantly, let's say, olive skinned. Does not mean that all of us are like that. It's the same thing when people think, oh, you cannot be a Christian Arabs.
Yeah.
Being Arab is different from being Muslim. That's not how it
True.
works.
Yeah.
You can be other religions. But yeah. So if you're blonde, you can only be from Lebanon.
It's not just the blonde as well, like even like having colored eyes, like
Yeah, of
that's
course.
such a, like, even if a black person has like colored eyes, all of a sudden they're like, oh, you have contacts on, or like you
Yeah.
have this. Even though if a brunette person has colored eyes, they're
Yeah.
like, are they real? And
Yeah.
it's like, why is that only centered around blonde people? If a blonde person has brown eyes, do you question if they're real?
Yeah, no,
Why
you
is
don't.
that? Why is that?
Maybe, I don't know. I honestly, it's so mind blowing to me. I'm like, this is not how genetic works. And again,
Yeah.
if you had the access to the internet, you should be Googling before you ask them questions.
Exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, as much as hard as it is, but sometimes, yes, of course, be curious. We want people to interact. We want people to ask the questions and something like that. But there's certain way of asking things, and question it. It's okay. I actually I prefer for you to question your question before you come and ask me that question. It's okay. You can do it. There's actually some questions that are offensive. I know some people be like, no, but I don't know, and therefore how am I supposed to know it's offensive? I'm like, not with the internet. You don't get to use that excuse anymore. Google it. But yeah, if you're blonde, you're only Lebanese.
Yeah.
That's the consensus that we reached out to.
I have two, but I'll say them back to back. So that French people are rude, and then she put in brackets, we probably are.
But
That
then
was
being
fun.
rude is a personality thing, no?
I mean, I have no idea. I've never been
How
to
can your
France,
nationality
but you're
probably-
French, so you can debunk that if you want.
I mean, am I rude?
No,
Debatable.
you're- so yeah, that matches her statement.
I just feel like even if it's true, even if, let's say, a certain percentage of French people are, let's say, rude, objectively speaking, whatever it is, I don't know what metrics are we using to be like, oh, that's rude, right? But let's say there was a metrics, we did a study, and there was 70% of people who are French, let's say 70% of the French population was rude. Even if that's true, you still cannot generalize. There's still 30%.
True, you can't generalize.
Even if that's the case, even
Yeah.
if the majority are, you can't be like, all the French are rude. You can't.
Maybe they're blunt, and that kind of comes off as
Maybe
rude or
that's
something.
a
I don't know.
language thing. Maybe that's
Maybe.
a culture thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm low-key white passing, but my parents get a lot of odd looks because I'm Sikh. So I'm basically guessing the dad wears the
Yeah.
turban and all of that. So and maybe her mom wears the traditional attire. So
Yeah.
they probably get odd looks, but
She
yeah,
doesn't. Because
she white passes,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make her any less Sikh. I'm guessing maybe
Yeah.
she does follow Sikhism, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the hard part of basically not being, visually speaking, or behavioral, even if you don't behave the same way that you expect it to behave because you're from a certain culture, that's the problem, is that you have low-key, when you're growing up, identity crisis, because not crisis, but rather difficulties, because you are oh, you're not Sikh enough for the Sikh, I'm assuming, and then also, but you're not white enough for the white people because your parents are not white. So it's always the difficulty of navigating how you can belong and being two things at the same time, right? You're not less of this and you're not less of this. You're just who you are, which is, I mean, I can only imagine how hard that is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have an experience that you want to share?
Um, I, okay. So for the longest time ever, every single time I used to basically, when I first came to this country, people would ask me like, where you from? And honestly, like naively, I used to just answer, be like, oh, I'm from Syria. And then every single time, without a fail, they was just basically start telling me like, oh my God, how sad the situation is and how bad they feel, and they start pitying me. And as much as I understand where they're coming from and I appreciate the empathy, sympathy, whatever feelings that they're feeling towards me in that moment, but I that's not the kind of reaction that I want, and also like not the kind of response suitable for that moment. And yeah, so like they would be like, oh, me and my husband, we went to we visited Damascus in 1970, and it was such a beautiful country,
Please.
and
You weren't even
we
born
loved
then.
the
Oh my
exactly, and we
God.
loved it, and it's such a shame that people are going this, and then it's all of a sudden the only thing that your country is remembered for, and you as me as a Syrian, is that the war. Which I appreciate, that the fact that it's been going for such a long time, and it's part of history, and it will forever be part of history. But why are 10 years defining what a country is?
Yeah, the entirety.
The entirety of their history, of our history. So that's when I basically developed this thing where, like, if someone asks me where I'm from, it depends on like if that person is white or if they're not. So if they're not, I don't know, the way that I've perceived it, I cannot get away with not calling myself white in front of ethnic people. I'm just not enough white passing. But in front of white people, I am. If I straighten my hair, if I speak in a certain way, I could get away with it. So if white people ever ask me where you're from, I'll be like, I'm French. And then just because I also have a bit of like knowledge of like certain places, like I can tell them like I'm from like this place that I was born in. I can even like talk about the
You're not lying,
universities,
though. You are
right?
French.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
I have a bit of history. And if an ethnic person asks me where I'm from, then I either ask them back, be like, where do you think I'm from? They're going to respond Algerian. That's the one I've gotten the most. I just run with it. I'll be like, yes, I'm Algerian. Or if they don't know and then they want to guess, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm Jordanian. Just because I have also the knowledge and the background to basically answer any question that they might have. And for the longest time ever, I just don't respond to the question of where you're from, like, truthfully, if I'm being honest, yeah.
I can't say I'm Jordanian. I don't think anyone would believe me. One thing that this is so funny. So I remember I was in school, and this was like high school. I was in year 12, and it was my first time in the new school and everything. And there was this one classmate that we were walking from one lesson to another, and she just tried to make small talk with me. And bless her, like she had all the good intentions.
We hope.
But she asked me a really funny question. And she basically said straight up with full confidence, she was like, so, are you from Kenya or Africa? Guys, when I tell
Both.
you,
How about that?
I stopped dead in my tracks. Like, what if I'm neither? What if I'm Jamaican?
No, but
Like, what
to
if-
her, there's only two options here. It's either Africa or Kenya. It's not like
I
Kenya is in
don't-
Africa. No.
Yeah.
In her geography, it's only two options.
That's crazy.
Africa and then Kenya.
Like, forget the issue of, like, Kenya being in Africa and the knowledge that Africa is not a country.
Yeah.
It's a continent. And, like, I could be Jamaican. I could be Haitian. I could be, I don't know, Portuguese. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, it's crazy to me. Like, even I hate when people minimize where you could possibly be from. Like,
Yeah.
even when I would speak to new people, like I remember when I first volunteered at a hospital, I was asked like, oh, so are you Canadian or American? And I was like, neither. I'm neither.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, honestly. But,
Yeah, when we were volunteering, me and Mawada in the hospital, there was because we get this a lot because we don't sound, I don't know, we don't sound British enough, we don't sound ethnic
yeah,
enough.
if you don't have a British accent, I think a lot of people just
Yeah.
automatically assume American or
Exactly.
Canadian. Yeah.
You can ask me about anything about
Oh.
tech. Oh, see,
going down.
that's how you know
It's
it's time
time,
to
guys.
end it. So now that the
the quote.
posters are down, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Like,
Yeah, sadly.
yeah.
Ended off with a quote of the week.
Oh yeah. So the quote of the week is gonna be in French. I am not reading it in French. Let me just tell you, but I'm gonna read the
Try.
translation.
Try.
No,
Attempt.
no.
No, come on.
They will come.
We
from-
have to.
No.
At least try.
No,
Use
I'm
the
gonna-
French that,
imagine-
because you did say you spoke French, right? So use the French that you have.
Imagine I say a slur by mistake. That's insane. No. Okay, so the quote is, it says here, it was by one of the previous prime ministers. I'm not going to say what's his name just because I actually don't know if he was a good prime minister or not. And we shall not be giving him free promotion. He's a horrible person. But
Okay.
for the instance of this quote, he did eat. So he says, there is only one way to fail, and that is to give up before succeeding.
Okay.
Hate him, love him, we don't know. I just know that he said a wise sentence once in his life.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. All right, guys.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this was our first episode wrapped up. I think it was a pretty wholesome episode. I think we did a
I
great
hope.
job.
I hope, because I wish you guys can see how much I wish there was behind the scenes. Maybe you'll be more inclined to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah. Hopefully
But
it
yeah.
was wholesome, nice, lightweight, nothing too triggering, you know?
Yeah. If you do want to stick around, know more about us, please do follow our Instagram. No, I was going
That
to
was
say
the
the
email?
email. Across the Border UK. And we also have a TikTok of the same title.
Yes.
We also have an email address if you want to personally email us. It's info@acrosstheborder.org. And we also have our website, which is www.acrosstheborder.org.
Yes.
And yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Thank you
So,
so much,
yeah.
you guys.
Thank you.
Imagine,
And
you guys, my mom, your dad, my dad,
basically,
our siblings. That's pretty much it. It's a family meeting at this point.
basically,
Yeah.
a family function.
We're gonna have to start somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whoever is a foreigner and would like to come to the cookout, you're always invited.
Of course.
So yeah.
Even though
but
there's
yeah.
no food here, but we do serve coffees.
Oh yes, we do.
Yeah.
And with that being said,
Ma
ma
salama.
salama.